All right. So, how this workshop was born? It's was a few days back. We like 1 week back, we've got kind of like a request from client that they want to create so that Trickster will create some previous, and then they're saying, well, let's make it in comp completely, and we have like birds that flying, and then we're like, okay, cool, let's try, and I started to put together the system to make flying birds. And when I was done, like after a few hours and stuff, I was like, well, shit, it's actually like there's a lot of things that we can just go through and kind of like and see how it's possible to kind of not to use particles if you want to create something which looks like particle system. And I just give me a second, close this one. And there are many things that I learned on this workshop, like with from the guys that came in, like from Andrea and Yuri and Eyal and so on and so on and so on and so on, which are super simple. And then you're getting something that you're like, well, that's actually working, and you build it from scratch. And the first thing why people not trying to do stuff like that, they're looking on the final result of somebody who did build it, or they're looking on particle system, they're like intimidated by, oh shit, it's called particle system, oh shit, like I'm not able to do that. And I'm kind of like, I promise you, after this hour, like even if you have no idea and nothing, you will be able to build something like that. And the main idea of this workshop, and not to show the final result, because I already rebuilt it 3 times when I was preparing that, but more to show that the way how like I would approach things, and to show stuff that you can learn, little snippets that I learned, for example, when I was kind of like dealing with that. So let's see how I'm doing this. I'm doing the slide. I will leave it like that. It's kind of easier. You can see it pretty well. Okay, so I already mentioned for you. I already mentioned the goal, and our goal is build kind of like particle system, or like build something that will help us to work with many birds which are flying and doing certain stuff, usually flying left, right, or doing circles, and so on and so on. Okay, so this is the first goal, and I was like, okay, good. Now let's see what will be my steps. So we have the final goal. Fine. Now the best thing is just to define your intermediate steps, that how you will kind of like progress, because if you will just jump forward, it will be a little bit problematic, because you will have to go back all the time, because you missed something on your way, which I did in last few days a lot. So don't worry, it will happen to you. But the good thing is that it's just don't give up, just okay, going back and keep going. This is very long pep talk, but I'm getting there, don't worry. Okay, so I would like to create a swarm of the birds. Am I recording? Yes, good. Birds should have circular movement, or any movement. I will start with the circular movement just to make it simple, and then we'll think about, if we'll have time, how we actually just saying do flock, fly left, fly right, faster, slower, with different kind of like amplitudes, frequencies, and so on and so on. Each bird supposed to have own speed, color, position, movement, and size. This is just basic things. Probably there will be more, but it was just first thing that I was like, okay, how I want to modulate stuff, because otherwise it all will look the same. And of course, each parameter of each bird is supposed to be easily adjustable, and something that you cannot do with the particle system. You have particles, you're just checking them out, and like you're hoping that it all will be fine. Of course, if you're really good with the particles, you will be very precise here and there, but still you will be not able to access every single bird specifically. And last one, systems should be light and easy to work with. Now, when I'm looking back, I'm like, well, maybe it's not very easy to work with. Maybe it's not crazily crazily light, but it's pretty light and was pretty responsive for me. Okay, so let's start from very first thing that I would do. It's prepare your basic particle. So I asked our 3D department to to provide me a cache of a bird. Now you can create this bird by yourself. Like, you know, if you have birds very far away, it's not so hard to create from few carts and planes and cylinders, something which will do kind of like something that will kind of like will look like a bird. Okay, so that's definitely, just give me a second, that will be the first step. So, and the first thing, we will put it on 0, 0, 0, and by the way, this is our final result. Okay, so something like that. Okay, so that will be a flock of birds which are flying there. I also did render yesterday these guys when I just was testing and if everything is working. Okay, so this is our guys. But let's start from very scratch. This is also final result of the system that we will build, and let's start with this. And right now I will just go a little bit more into details. Okay, so let's see on this guy. So this is the alembic that was provided. Right now it's a wireframe, but let's say solid. Okay, so it looks like that. It is looped, and it is heavy. So we already have some problems here. It is heavy. It is also very big. So I assume that my system is 1 meter, as we were talking in our chat. Okay, and this guy is right now like, I don't know, 60 meters, which is very big. So first of all, you want to take your particle and make the size of this, and basically put it on the 0 and make it kind of like reasonable size. Okay, so let's go and let's just do it. Okay, so never put something inside of translate, rotate, scale of your geometry, because your geometry will change. Okay, you will ask different loop, you will ask different geometry. So what you want to do always, you want to bring a transform, and even you want to bring an axis. So basically this guy will receive the transformation, this axis will do actual transformation. Okay, so let's start from scaling this guy down. Now let's put it like on 0, 0, 0. Okay, so, and I will go and use quite simple tricks, like simple stuff. I will try to get away from anything which is a remotely heavy or complicated, just because I don't know complicated stuff as well, and also it's less intimidating. So I just moved this guy with this axis on 0, 0, 0. Okay, and now I can bring another axis. So let's call it position adjust, just for us to know. Okay, I will bring another axis, and as you can see, I'm just connecting it from the top, and I know I'm going very slow, but I do want that you will exit this workshop with really understanding what's happened. And I know that for many people it will be, well, very simplistic, but sorry about that. That's the workshop about how to do things in a very simple way. And this guy I will just scale to make a bird a reasonable size. So right now we kind of 3 meters, I guess, and I will go 0.1, and now this is kind of the size of the bird that's supposed to be. Okay, good. So the first thing first, our bird is on the 0, 0, 0. And we have it kind of like looped there, and then it is bloody heavy. Okay, so let's now solve the problem of heaviness, because we do want to be able to go fast, okay, when we're working. And that's why I will just bring a switch node, and I will say, well, this will be the heavy bird. Then let me duplicate that, because I know that because I asked them to give me a little bit lighter bird. So, and if I will go to scene graph, I will say, instead of the high poly feathers, I want only the poly feathers, which is like that. So this will be the decent bird. Now let's go and make it even faster. So I'm duplicating again, and and we will just, let's kill the body, and let's kill eyes and tongue, of course. So right now we're staying really with very minimum. As you can see, it's kind of crazily fast. And let's set up something else. I will build, I kind of like I will just bring it, because I don't want to build it now and stuff. It's just pyramid object. Control C, and where am I? Here, Control V. So that's how it looks like. Okay, so this is the lightest one. It has no movement, but right now I have full bird, quite decent bird, crappy bird, and I have a pyramid. Okay, so let's go. Ta, ta, ta. Done. Now with this switch, we can just say what will be the quality. It's not switching because I'm in 3D view and 3D view is not updating properly. But basically, I guess you've got the point, right? Okay, good. So now let's have a look on our final particle, which is here. And I will go now and I will work with this kind of view, okay? Because I do want it to be kind of representable for the size, for the movement, and so on and so on. So let's have a look what's happening. We have a loop and it stops. And here we're coming to two things that I learned in the last 2 weeks. First, fmod from Eyal. Second, it's frame hold from Yuri. Okay, why? Because I do want to loop this animation, and a read geo does not have loop function. Or like you just cannot go to read geo and say, well, I want to loop it. Maybe I'm missing this. Maybe you'll say, well, Alexey, of course it is there and stuff. But let's have a look how we can loop this guy. First, I need to see what is actually the loopable part. Just a second. Okay, what is the loopable? The loopable part is from 1000 to 1000 to 1200. Okay, good. So let's go. So first of all, I will bring the frame hold. And then let's just start with expressions. Why frame hold? Because, well, let's say frame. If you'll just put expression frame right now after frame hold, your frame hold is changing every frame exactly as it like basically doing nothing. Okay, so this is clear, I guess. Now, guys, you don't understand something, stop me, because you will miss something, you will not understand later things. But right now, I guess we all understand what's happening. Frame hold is animated because expression on frame hold is frame, and that's why every frame is just advancing as it was doing previously. Let's go to curve editor, that's how it looks like. Now, let's change something here. I think it will be fmod frame, that's what I learned 2 weeks back. 200. And what's happening now, it's taking the frame and then it's looping every 200 frames. And I'm kind of like, yes, I made it, I have a loop, but nothing is happening. Why? Because it's looping now from 0 to 200. I need to loop from 1000 to 200. So my first solution was, I was like, ah, shit. Well, I'll just bring time offset and I will move it minus 1000 frames before. Okay, so I kind of cheating. And now my loop, which is from 0 to 200, is working very, very good. Okay, but kind of like, well, why? I can just go here inside of this expression and I will say frame minus 1000 and then give me 200. And now my loop is from 1000 to 1200. Easy, right? Okay, good. Then the one thing that I kind of like have to fix is, where is it? It just did work. Come on. 16. Why my frame is 11, 16 and it is, oh no, it's not. I'm mistaken. You see, why not you stopping me? Let's try minus 1000. No, plus 1000. Okay, let's see now. Now it's working. Okay, that's exactly what's happened to me back then. I was like, where am I putting this number? Okay, I had to offset it. I did offset it in the wrong place, but now it's 1000, 1200. Okay, good. So let's solve a little problem of jump, because we're arriving to 200, but actually it's supposed to be not exactly 200 frame. Okay, I will go to the first frame. The wing's supposed to be in the lower position, and here, when I'm going here, they like in higher position. Where are they in the lower position? 1194. Okay, so I will go for not 11, 194. Okay, and right now I believe we have very good loop. Okay, good. So far we managed to put our particle in the middle. We managed to loop it. So right now we can go kind of like easily and start operate a particle system. Let's have a look what we have in our next step. Okay, so we did put a penguin. Okay, we put our bird in the middle. We adjusted position. We did adjust scale. That's right. Okay, I followed it. And then You see here I wrote it properly. We have our frame and then loop time and plus 1000. Okay, so as you can see, and that's something that you, like I would always recommend you to do, is expose everything that is helpful for you. Okay, and I will just expose it here inside of this frame hold. So we will do it a lot now. So our loop time, it will be just a user knob. Let's call it loop time. Yep. Loop time here. Control C, Control V, and minimum 1, maximum 1000. We don't care right now. And done. So now here it's 194. And right now inside of our expression, I will just put loop time. Okay, so he will go and access our user knob, so we can easily adjust our loop position and size. We can also go and instead of 1000 to add an offset, but it's kind of like right now we don't need it, and I will just jump above it. For example, if we will get different loop, then I was like, oh shit, we need different offset. Why didn't I do that? Okay, so let's do it. Okay, loop time, and this we will call an offset. Offset loop. Control C, Control V, and fine. Offset loop plus offset loop, and offset loop it's 1000. Voila. Okay, good. So right now we have adjustable kind of like all the stuff that we need, and we can keep going. So let's see if we are done with our particle. We don't have yet the color, so let's just go for apply material. And right now I'll just bring a constant, okay, from your permission, so it will be quite easy, and it will be red constant with white alpha. Okay, that's what we're looking at. Alpha. Yeah. We applied material. We can apply it with the proper material qualities like funk or something, but like right now we're fine. We'll be okay. Okay, so back to our workflow. So then, as I already mentioned, we will design kind of like few levels of heaviness, which we already did, and then we'll start creating basic animation for bird. So we are done with the basic particle, and this is let's just name it. I'll just name it bird, and I will keep going. So this was our first part, and we are pretty far already with our development. Okay, so we have looped particle. You're kind of like, well, Alexey, 20 minutes or 15 minutes talking about one particle. This is important because that will be kind of payoff. Okay, so now we have our particle. I will bring transform geo, I believe, and then I will bring an axis. So right now my goal is to let this particle to do circles, okay, because we want to create specifically now something with a circular movement, and there is some very, very helpful expression that you can put, which all of you are supposed to know that. Okay, and it's sinus and cosinus. Sinus frame. And this is, I have no idea what sinus is, I have no idea what cosinus is, but I know what they're doing when they are combined together. Cosinus frame. I will say okay, and now let's make little pause here. F. I'm looking now on the sinus. And sinus, kind of, you're giving it some number, and it's always will give a number between -1 and 1. Okay, this is extremely important because it's so useful in so many cases. Okay, so what we have here, this is our amplitude. It's going from -1 to 1, and this is our frequency. It's going kind of like with the speed that frames are advancing. So every frame is going to different number, and then sinus going to like tack up to the 1 and back. Now let's just first, without looking on anything else, see how we can modulate that. So if I will slow down the frame, divide by 10 for example, we can see that our curve is flattening, meaning our frequency is lower. So right now we're slower, and then we're getting some number which is from -1 to 1, and if I will multiply this number by 10 for example, this is very simple. Our amplitude is getting bigger. So right now we are slower, but amplitude is bigger. So that's where we have our frequency and amplitude. Okay, so let's erase that. Just and then let's come back to the second thing. The cool thing that when you combine sinus and cosinus, and I was bad with math and I still bad with math now, when you're combining them, you're getting the circle. As you can see, our bird is flying in the circle. And it's flying from -1 to 1, okay? Which is already awesome. We have what we wanted. We have a circle. Now, we also know that we can increase the frequency and the amplitude if we would like to do that. Okay, so something that we already learned, that we probably want to go immediately for user knobs, because we know that we will want to work on that. So I will create 2 user knobs, 1, 2, and one of them will be the frequency, how fast the bird is going to make the circles, which means speed. Let's call it speed to not confuse ourselves. Control C, Control V. This will be a speed, and we'll go from 1 to 5. I don't know what will be the size in that, but I think actually from 0, it's not important, to 2. Okay, this will be the speed. The second one will be the amplitude. So how big the circle will be, meaning the radius. Okay, we're just calling this radius because that's what it is, radius. Control C, Control V, and we will probably be in meters, so I will go from 1 to 100. Okay, so we prepared our stuff, and now we just can go to our expressions here and go to, or let's go like that. Edit expression, so it will be quite visible for you. Okay, so it will be frame multiply, I guess. Maybe it will be divide, but we will see. By, this is our speed, and then we will multiply by amplitude, which is radius. Okay, that was the sinus, and exactly same thing. Control C, Control V. We'll put inside of our cosinus. Okay, frame, speed, radius, easy peasy. Right now everything is broken because my speed is 0, my radius is 0. So let's go, radius is 1, boom. Wow, look at this, it did work. Okay, let's have a look. Speed is 0, okay, speed is 1, and we're quite crazy there, right? Okay, so let's say 0, 0, 1. Final. Okay, so right now we have our bird flying in circles within 1 meter. Okay, 10 meters. Fine, let's go 1, so we'll see what's happening. Okay, because we will have quite a few things to work on, because you're kind of pretty sure that this is not amazing particle system so far. Okay, good, but let's have a look if I'm fine with my kind of like advancement there. So sinus frame, cosinus frame, we went through this, and then we modifying the speed and modifying the amplitude. Okay, this is fine, and that's exactly where we kind of like going and assigning stuff. So let me see, time to fly. Okay, good. So now yep, let's talk about the look at, and as we can see, our bird is actually not looking like to nothing, and it's supposed to be to look towards the direction of the flying. Okay, and I'm pretty sure there are proper ways to do look at. Okay, but I didn't know about this play, and I was kind of, well, it just need to look to the place where it will be in 2 frames or in 1 frame. Okay, well, fine. So this will be our position, and then I will create another axis, and I will call it look at axis. And here we're coming, and we kind of can make very simple just link between position of our bird to look at axis. And now our look at axis is in the same position where our bird is. Okay, but I don't want him to be in the same position. I want to be where the bird will be in 2 frames, meaning easy peasy, frame plus 2, I think, or -2 will be fine. So Control C, Control V, Control V. So right now, if I'll say OK, we can see that our axis is actually behind, I guess, or in front. It's behind. Okay, it's supposed to be -2, but Now we can say to our bird, please look at this axis all the time. And yeah, fair enough, we're looking backwards. No worries, we will kind of like, we'll change that. So I will add now another knob to this look at axis, which will tell me how far the bird's supposed to look at. In 2 frames, in 3 frames, backward -5 frames. Okay, right now we're looking backwards, which is incorrect, but let's just make it easy to play with. Okay, so, and oh, that's wrong. I'm always doing this, sorry. So this one, and I will add here, look at timing. My name is not amazing, but you know, you'll be fine. And let's say maximum 10, minimum 1. And then now let's have a look. Inside of our look at expression, what I'm doing, yeah. Inside of our look at expression, edit expression, inside of the number we'll just put the look at time. And you know what, let's make it minus maybe. No, let's leave it plus, that's okay, like it's okay, good. So right now our look at time is 0, and then we'll go in the minus direction, which is anyway fine. So as you can see now, our bird is flying and always looking towards the direction of the flying. And the closer the more it's corresponding to the current curve, and we can do also and look very far away, but that's kind of will be weird. So let's leave it for like -5 or something like this. Okay, so, and I never arrived to that, but later we will be with the kind of like birds which are flying very crazily. And if bird is flying very crazy from frame to frame, you will see it will move in quite crazy way. So I was thinking that you can basically, instead of look at 1 frame, you can look at 5 frames in front of you and average of them. So frame -1, -2, -3, -4, divide plus all these frames, and then divide by 5, for example. And then you will have very smooth look at kind of like a way to look towards the kind of like your trajectory. Okay, good. So now let's check this out. I was wrong. We're actually supposed to look forward. We are good. Okay, so we're all good. Okay, questions so far? Okay, very good. I hope you're still awake. Let's keep going. Okay, so we created the look at, and let's see, we're able to modify the radius. We created look at setup with easy access knob, which we have. And now we made already actually speed and radius easily adjustable with the sinus frame. We have lookup setup, and now we want to add some randomization to flight pattern, and we also want to create some knobs. I have to say, when I was creating randomization, I was just using, like, I wanted to add some random function to her flight pattern, and I just was using the basically Shift A. You can go here and you can say, well, animation maker, but we don't want to use stuff like that, because you want to be able to build it from scratch. And that's why I said, well, let's create some random function for X, Y, and Z of this axis, and then this axis will drive, basically it will add a little bit of randomization of position for look at and for our position. Okay, now important, this axis, the new one, is in the center of the world. You probably, maybe you can add it also here, and then it will be random relatively to position of the bird. I will leave it in the center because it kind of did work for me. So axis, axis. Now, how do I create random expression? This is a good question. I didn't know how to do that, or like most likely I just forgot. So and that's the way. You're just going to internet. Okay, easy random expression for Nuke, and then here you go. Okay, this is Nukepedia, like just first page that I've got. Okay, so easy peasy. So random expression will look like that. This is the full function by default. So you will have random, and then you will have 1, and then you have frame, which is your frame. 1 is the seed. We already can read here. Okay, and then you will have multiply frequency, multiply amplitude, plus value offset. It's very similar actually what we did with sinus and cosinus. We also have a value offset, we also have frequency, and we have our amplitude. Okay, so what I did, I just did copy this expression and put it inside of every of mine. I cannot copy it, I think. Can I? I can't. No. So let's just go there. I will copy paste from my script because typing it will be quite some time, but the idea will be absolutely the same. Okay. So where am I? Second, bird. No, I don't want to go to bird. I want to go inside of. It's here. Sorry, I went lost. So this is my noise, and I will just edit expression. Control A, Control C. Let's leave it here. And I will slow down here a little bit because I know that it's going to be a little bit problematic otherwise. So we need to create first, we need to create our knobs for frequency, amplitude, what else? Just give me a second. Opala. Seed, frequency, amplitude, and offset. Okay, so let's just create these nodes. And now I know I'm kind of a little bit jumping there because we still need to put the expression in place. I will do it, don't worry. Okay, so let's go just, I guess, no, again, not this wrong one. This will be the longest kind of like time consumer, I guess. 1, 2, 3, 4, and there's a good chance we'll do just on the X. So as you can see previously, I did it for left and right, front and back, top and bottom, X, Y, Z. Okay, so and there will be, maybe I can just copy it. Can I? Control C, Control V. I can. I'm sure I can. Shift. Nope. Control will copy it. No, I did it previously. Okay, so let's call it seed X, because I want to do it per direction, and then there will be frequency X, Control C, Control V, and amplitude X, Control C, Control V, and offset X, Control C, Control V. I will do it as an example just on the one, because, and then I will just copy all the axes and that's it. But let's now create the edit. Second, bring the expression itself. Edit expression. Control C, and just let's try to read it. So, where am I right now? I am inside of my offset axis. Second, that's not one. This is axis 1. This is axis that I don't need. I just probably created 2 of them. So this will be my noise axis. Noise. Okay. So I have my user knobs here that I created, and I will go to my X and I will create this expression. Now let's read it. It's exactly, and that's important. Like I know that this one is maybe a little bit confusing, but you're just really copying whatever you see here. It's like it was with sinus. You have sinus, and then you have a frame, and then you have frequency, amplitude. Okay, here you have a random, which also you have a seed and value offset, but otherwise frequency, amplitude. So that's exactly what's happening. You copy this, and this is your random, then seed X, then frame multiplied by frequency X multiplied by amplitude plus offset X. You just need to turn off your brain, put it there, and you will have it. Okay, I will say okay, and the same you're doing for your Y and for your Z. What I'm trying to achieve here? Well, I'm trying to add some random movement by every axis that bird can have. Sometimes bird will fly faster than slower. Sometimes it will go up and down without any animation of your actual curve that creating the circle. Okay, so this is my goal. So right now I will just copy the axis that I had already in whatever I prepared, and I will put it here instead. Okay, there is no expression from this axis to these guys. It's just connected to both look at and the position, so he will be able to control them. Okay, so now let's have a look how does it look like right now. I'll close these things. So this is kind of like annoying thing of 3D space, that this guy will stay there now. It's because I accessed it, and now I kind of like, it's from my example. But anyway, let's ignore him. So let's have a look on our bird. As you can see right now, it's flying, and it's flying completely in a weird way all over the place, okay, because my noise is extremely strong. The value is that's extremely strong here. Okay, so I will say right now, I will just kill the amplitude everywhere, and I will make it like 1. Okay, and as you can see right now, we do have some offset. I will have a look at why we have an offset, but don't worry, it will be solved. But we have this curve which is showing us how much we actually added noise to our movement. So now let me check why we moved by Y and by Z 24. So I'll just go here, and I will just kill everything. We have the offset here. Very good. 0, 0. Let's start from where everything 0, 0, 0. Okay, that will be your starting point basically. So where is our bird? It's there. I will probably just kill my this is actually my what I have to kill not to see it. Second, I just want you not to be confused. If I'll delete this one, yeah, okay, good. I will bring it later. So let's have a look on our bird when we just added our kind of like noise patterns, but we're still not applying them. Okay, bird is flying in the normal circles. Okay, as we wanted it to fly, it's doing like radius of 2. Okay, now let's slowly, and I will recommend you slowly start adding things. For example, you're saying, well, I want that it will move top to bottom. It's by Y. So, and movement will be, amplitude will be 1, which is just like 1 unit, and the frequency will start to rise. The frequency, don't go very crazy, and now your bird will go, oh my god, that's too fast. Okay, so that was the frequency of movement. We'll probably need to go 0 to, and now, okay, it's starting to make sense. Okay, very first steps are slow. Later it's extremely easy and fast. We will get there. We can increase amplitude, so it will go more up and down. Okay, so now we have very crazy bird. 20 minutes to go. We're still not in the particle system. Don't worry, we're getting there. All right, so now we added our randomization. Okay, I left it here so you will be easily be able to create that. Okay, this is the one confusing thing. Okay, so now let's clean up, meaning we want like start to create groups. Okay, and expose only stuff that we would like to use later. I can also work without creating groups, but let's do it because that's part of the tutorial. Okay, so we have our bird up there. That will be first group, and then we have our flying pattern, which is here. Okay, what you will prefer that I will just go one by one and create groups and link stuff, or I'll just show you the final groups and then I will just explain what was exposed? Because I think the creating links you already understood. Create the group, you also know how to. Can I just jump over that, or you prefer that I will stay there? Because otherwise I will not get to actual kind of Python stuff.
I think you can jump over that.
Yeah.
All right, good. Okay, fine. Then I already erased my group, so let's just grab it somewhere here. I have it here. Okay, flying single, flying cycle, Control C and Control V. So let's have a look on the result of me cleaning things. Kind of like we have a bird which is collection of these things with exposed. You remember I created all the time user knobs. Okay, let's have a look which ones I now exposing. So this is my bird with the whatever size my bird has. It's 3 meters, which is quite big bird. Okay, and my quality is, I say, well, proxy, crappy, decent, and awesome. And each one of them will basically control the switch which I showed you in the beginning. So if I'll go for proxy and so on and so on. Okay, this expression is super simple, just parent quality inside of our switch. Then we can display it textured, we can display it wireframe, it can be off, and so on and so on. Right now I will leave it solid, and I will go for crappy. And then scale, time offset. Okay, that will be crucial. And then we have a color that we can assign. For some reason my color is not showing up. I don't know why actually, but it's supposed to be. It's not there. Then the flight bird. This is the second group. And this is actually will be responsible for the flight pattern of each one. Nothing, almost nothing new here. Like I added time offset for every bird. So each bird will have separate time offset. Each bird will have separate apply material if needed. And then these things you already know. What is this axis doing? I don't remember, but it was necessity to put it there. I think I also operating on this axis, but let's have a look what we have here. Okay, so we want to have look at distance. We want to have a separate scale per bird. Where's my bird? Okay, separate scale, separate time offset per bird. We can override the color or keep the color as it is. Right now I'm overriding the color with the new color per bird. We have a position, and right here you can see that X and Z are expression of sinus with the position, seed, and speed and radius. Okay, and Y is just kind of like arbitrary number that we can just go up and down, how high the guy is. And this is the entry for the axis that with this axis we can just take the whole system later and move it up or down. Okay, what else we have here exposed? Seed and radius, you remember, we're using this in position, and then randomization, side move, right, left, right. Okay, so everything is exposed. Now let's talk about how we're actually going to operate this, because it's still one bloody bird. I will usually use massive panel, but in this example I very hope we have 15 minutes, plenty of time. We'll be just able to use the Python. So my way will be just to duplicate these birds. Okay, and okay, I'll see, I'm always going to panel because I have just fast stuff there, but let's just create many birds. Let's not go crazy, let's just say this will be enough for now. Okay, and let's make it twice more, that's fine. Okay, so this is the bird, and this is all the instances of this bird that we will use. So let's just say bird, connect to these guys, and now each one is a bird. Let's bring scene, so we'll see what's happening there. Scene all together, and now we have whatever 20 birds there. Okay, so we have particle system, and how can we actually operate that? Okay, let's go to Nope Scripter. Do I have this saved? No, I didn't save my code. That's fun. Okay, good. So, and here I told you that we need to remember how we assigning values to separate to selected nodes. Okay, I wrote that. Okay, guys, please have a look, because that will be kind of like essential. And now I will just look on the one of them, and I will select all these guys. And what I will start to do, let's just give to each bird different speed. Okay, now our speed is this. Okay, or let's make just, let's say this circle that the radius will be not 100, but radius will be 50. Okay, so we'll just go for nuke selected nodes. Okay, so this is basically will make a list of all the nodes that we selected, and I will add it to variable, and you're supposed to know it already. Sn. Okay, Sn is equal nuke selected nodes. Again, very basic Python thing, like there cannot be more basic than that. And then I will go in a loop through them, and loop is going like for bird, let's say, it can be anything else, well, we'll call it bird, in Sn, bird, and now we want to access a specific knob on each bird, and knob will be speed. In order to see the name of the knob, radius, we can see it's called radius, and we'll say set value, and let's say 50. Okay, so what it will do, it will just go through all of them and set value of 50 on each one of them. Third, of course I did mistake, not third by bird. And can I make it bigger? Okay, so as you can see now, the radius is actually smaller, it's 50 and not 100, or we can make radius 200. Good thing is that that's it, you can now operate on the radius. Okay, this is a little snippet, we can save it as a snippet and you can keep going. We're still not there, I know magic is not there yet, but let's just duplicate that. Control C and Control V. Okay, so again, we're going through every node, but now I do want to add some randomization finally. And I can start with, for example, with the random radius. So they will be in different position, in different radius for each bird. Okay, how do I do the random? I went to internet again and I had a look how I'm doing random in Python and not in expressions. And I think I did save it here. That was the cleanup. Okay, I'm getting there. Okay, now we're creating the particles, and in this case I had way more of them. And this is my first example when we just can operate all of them together, which is already good. But now we want to add some randomization. And this is what the second relatively complicated thing is, that import random. It's the module called random, and this random has this function which called uniform. So he will give you the random value between -1 and 1, or minus whatever you want to whatever you want, meaning that we will go, and now here it's absolutely the same. We're going through all selected birds. For one bird and all birds, we will generate random number, and then we will assign the position of this bird plus random number. Okay, so each bird will get like +5, +3, ±5, and so on and so on and so on. So let's have a look how will it work. Okay, so import random and the random uniform. Okay, so first of all, let's go and let's do this. Import random. And we spoke about the modules. How can we import modules? It's just like boxes with the different tricks. Okay, and then for every bird we're going to add random value, which will be like, let's say we will call it random value. So we'll say random, what was there? Uniform. Okay. And let's say our value should be like -5 to 5. So we want just to a little bit, -5 meters closer, +5 meter closer. And then value will be radius, set value. So we'll say, let's say 200 plus, so generally it will be, radius will be 200 plus rand, rand value. Okay, now let's check this out. Boom. Cool. Okay, did work. Let's make random value 50, so it will be a little bit more. Okay, so now we did disperse them. That's it, guys. Seriously, that's two things that you need to know in order to control the whole system, because from now on you know how to set certain value, you know how to randomize this value. For example, let's go and say, I'll just duplicate that so it will be kind of like simple for you, so I will save it in some way. And seriously, that's it. So paste. Now instead of radius, let's modify speed. Now our speed usually it's 0.17, something like that. Okay, so let's say our speed will be not 200, of course, because we'll be crazy. 0.17, and then random value will be -0. Okay, let's say from 0 basically, because we don't want to go to minus stuff, to 0.1. So there will be some ones who was really staying with this speed, 0.17, and some of them will be faster. Okay, so let's go. That's it. Okay, so you can see now your system is starting to be alive, and it is easy later. I don't want to go to more complicated stuff to create definitions of functions out of this, that they will expect things similar to knobs that we have here, like in Python. But the main idea is right now you can do everything. Okay, so let's say my speed will be a little bit lower and random value will be also lower, because I do want them to be now a little bit in this, like slower, so it will be easy to see what we're doing and see all our next problems. Okay, first, they're all moving in the same speed. Well, no problem. We know how to randomize their speed. They're moving with the same movement. Okay, we don't need to import random because it was already there, but let's see it. Sorry, boom, boom. Okay, so they all have the same movement. You remember we have this time offset for each one. So let's randomize time offset. Time underscore offset. And let's say we'll say the minimum will be -1000 or like 0, and maximum will be 1000. So, and we'll just give random value for every offset of every bird. Yep. So right now they all have different movement in their wings, but they all have same noise pattern. So they all will go slightly up, slightly down, and so on and so on. And here we're just going and we're saying, well, I want that we want to randomize movement of top to bottom. Okay, so what we want to randomize, let's say the frequency maybe slightly, amplitude 30. Okay, so amplitude called amplitude Y. So I will go and say amplitude Y, and our usual amplitude will be 30. But we can say, well, the amplitude will be from 20 to 40, different amplitudes, okay? And then we're setting this value from 20 to 30. That's it. We did randomize their amplitude by Y, okay? So that's it. What is good with this system? So what is good is, first of all, you have almost all controls, or all controls that you have with the particle system. The second one, you literally can pick up every bird, and you can say, well, this specific bird will go and will be in slightly different position, or this specific bird will be faster. So I will say this guy is going to be like really crazy right now with speed. And now we have all birds very slow, and this guy is flying very, very fast. We can absolutely, you remember this axis input? So this is kind of like not rocket science. Now I can take my system, I can bring it, position it to whatever place I want to position it. And all the complexity that we don't have it inside of Nope, just we also didn't have time to finish everything. And everything is here. It's these two, I will just erase that even, is these two little things, how to set value for each one of them, and how to set random value for each one of them. Let's have a look if I did miss something important, because here, for example, that was also where my steps when I was going through building the system. I randomize speed of each one of them. Then we randomize some other height, for example, it was here. Then it was random color, well, not crazy at all, okay? So with the color, actually, I didn't went through this, but color has actually 3 entries. So X, Y, Z, or red, green, blue. So I created per bird 3 random numbers from 0 to 1. And then I just say, well, give them different colors. And that was the final result. We didn't arrive to that, I know, but basically that's where you can get to, approximately. Okay, now I have 5 minutes and I have a very, very hard cut today because I have meeting exactly at 10. I would like to hear your questions, basically, if you have some. If you didn't understand nothing, that will be very sad, but I believe that you're ready to go now to build something like that. I did expose here as well. You see the position here is basically, it's just a circle. But right now, if you will just link some axis to position of X and Y, and this axis that you will link, it can basically give any position of your flock. So you can say, for example, you can create an axis, and then you can take even, again, one bird, erase all the rest of the birds. You can take one bird and say that position of this bird will be linked to the X and to the Y, and let's say to the Z as well, of this guy. And now whatever this guy will go, your bird will go. And the cool thing is that orientation of your bird will be the same, or proper. But all the differences of your birds that you will create later will be random, meaning you can create one bird which will lead the flock to fly in any direction. In our case it was just circle, but right now this bird can take any path, and then you're just saying the flock to fly after that. And you can do it because you know how to randomize the flock. You can just say, well, just big flock, very little flying together, and so on and so on and so on. I'm done. Questions?
No questions. Cool. Nice job.
Okay. Scary silence as always after the workshop.
It was good. It was really good. Yeah, I think we have to digest this and play around with that. Yeah.
That's very cool. Definitely.
Adrian, what are you doing here? It's the beginner course. Anyway, I did. I left this kind of like this step-by-step guide in our. I actually also sent it in our WhatsApp group. I also left it inside of an invitation, so you can basically go one by one and just repeat that again. Crucially important. This is not the way you're building the flock. This is the way you can build anything and go back and kind of like adjust. And as you can see, there is absolutely no crazy complicated things. It's all very simple, going through everyone and randomizing everyone. Doug, yes.
Yeah, just a very quick question. You're randomizing the colors with completely random colors. Is that because you want to use these colors as a kind of a masking feature, or
no?
Is it
just to show how it's possible, because this is just an example of, okay, look at that. If you have if you have a knob which has 3 entries, like a array of 3, then you can access it in this way, and that's why I'm showing that. Additionally, our birds will be black, but I will be able to modulate their color from being gray to being black, and it's already not so bad.
Yeah.
It's already a little bit there, somewhere there in the sky, some of them slightly brighter, some of them are black, and with the time, also you, for example, X, Y, Z, it's also like array that if you want to be able to modulate, you need to know how to create, like you're creating 3 random numbers, 3 random numbers, and then you're just putting them to X, Y, and Z. It's just example of the things that I did touch, and I think it will be useful for you. I have to jump out. Sorry for abrupt exit. Thank you very much for joining.
Thanks.
And
Good
ciao. Good luck.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Alexey.
Thanks a lot.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Guys.
Bye. Stop present.
Alexey,
Ciao.
could you share the note just for test?
I will. I have to jump out, but I will share it. Ciao.
And stop recording.
Oh yeah, stop recording. Ciao. Yeah.